Hey everyone, GOTLG fan here, and welcome back to another Reddit video. So today, I am going to be reading r/am I the butthole, or r/AITH. So the first story I have is third update. Am I the butthole for not letting my ex-husband and one of his future stepkids come inside? Well, I thought I would update everyone on what happened when I picked my kids up from my ex-husband's wedding. First of all, I got there at 8:20. As soon as I arrived and texted my ex and my older son that I was there. Then I walked into the lobby. I checked my phone and had no response from either of them. I waited until 8:40, then walked to the front desk. I said I was there to pick up my children and asked if maybe my ex had left a message at the desk for me. They knew nothing. I called my older son and he didn't answer. I called my ex and he didn't answer. At this point, my anxiety was bad and I felt sick. At 9, I called my lawyer and his receptionist said he would call me back. I kept calling my older son and he didn't answer. This wasn't unusual for him. I was scared something had happened. I asked the front desk which room they were in and they couldn't tell me, which I understood. At 9:20, I called the police. It took them a while to get there. When they arrived, it was past 10. The pickup window. I was panicking. All I could think was that my ex was going to tell the judge I was late. When the police arrived, they asked the front desk for my ex's room number. They told the police that he had checked out. I didn't know what to think. They asked the front desk if they had kids with them when they left, and they said no. They said my kids were actually booked in a suite with her kids and his parents, and they had paid for late checkout. The officers told me to wait downstairs and went to the room. They came back with my kids and their stuff, and we left. My oldest said his grandfather took his phone away, and they stayed up late and had no alarm set. Both boys said their grandparents were furious when the cops showed up. My lawyer eventually called me back, and we scheduled another custody hearing after the honeymoon. At the hearing, my ex tried to put everything on me. He said he told me the kids would be with his parents. He didn't. And that I staged the whole thing to make him look bad. He also said me calling the police traumatized the kids. I showed the judge all of our communication. The judge even interviewed my kids, who said even they didn't know they would be with their grandparents until the prior evening, by which point my oldest phone has already been confiscated. The judge gave me primary custody with visitation, and all pickups and drop-offs will now be at neutral locations with a 30-minute window. He was done. He was pissed. My ex has filed to have our case transferred to another judge because this one is clearly biased against him. In the meantime, though, the boys and I are happy and doing well. They're both getting great grades so far this year. That's good for you, OP. Getting primary custody? This ex of yours is a total butthole. You're not. Like, seriously. Am I the butthole because I won't tell my wife what my son/her stepson has in the savings from my late wife? My wife, in the 40s, and I, in the 40s, have a blended family. I have a 16-year-old son with my late wife. My wife has a 13-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son with her ex-husband, and they share custody. We have a 4 and a 2-year-old together. When my late wife was sick, she told me she wanted a percentage of the compensation she was issued for her medical misdiagnosis to go to our son's savings. She had also had a second savings account she wanted to add to it. This was on top of what 2 of us had saved for him before her illness. I honored her wishes and continued saving for our son's future. This is a promise made to my future wife that I have stood by. I also promised I would protect it and make sure it was only for him and nobody else. When my present wife and I started seriously dating, we talked about what saving will look like for our kids. if/when we get married. She knew I had always saved, as had my late wife. We didn't discuss how much either of us had saved for our existing kids, but we agreed to an amount every month that would be saved for all three of us, and this was talked about again when we had children together. Recently, there had been a lot of stress on my wife. Her ex had refused to discuss my stepkid's savings, and if he pays anything or not. She also feels like we haven't been able to save enough every month like promised, because it was just one thing after another. There are months we miss because of things beyond our control. Life stuff mostly, like things breaking, etc. A few weeks ago, my wife told me we should put all our cards on the table and discuss what all 5 kids have and decide how to proceed with making sure everyone gets what they need for the future. I told her I would happily discuss what I have saved for my oldest, but I would not be discussing the money left by his mom. She pushed back on it and said all the money should be taken into consideration. I told her we don't know what all the money is. I said our parents could be saving money for the kids' futures. Her ex could save money for my stepkids. His parents could have money for my stepkids. We can't say for certainty what everyone will have at the end, and it's only fair to discuss what she and I have and can save. She told me it sounds like I don't trust her. I responded by asking why she wants to know this so badly. By only talking about what we have saved, we're on an even footing. She told me if we knew everything, we could focus on the kids, who will have less a little more. That our younger two would probably be going to be the worst off long term, and she would be open to combining all the money and dividing it. I told her I was not on board with that, and what my son has from his mom is not going to be shared or used for any of the other kids. Excuse me. We argued about it, but I refused to say. She feels like that's wrong and we're married. I told her it's not my money, nor is it her money, or money that we can or should be assessing. It's from my late wife to our son, and that's all there is to it. My wife says she feels like I'm keeping her from the dark and not trusting her with something important. She said it cuts her ability to fully engage in conversations, and we need to be able to have decisions and we need to make as a couple. Am I the butthole? No, OP, you are not the butthole. If you say, like you said in the story, your late wife put money into the savings account for your son, your oldest son. Ergo, it should just be for the son. Next story. Am I the butthole for refusing to tell my mom, who told me her husband isn't my dad? I'm a 16-year-old female who always wondered why my dad treated me different to my siblings, even though me and my sister are just over a year apart in age. And he would love on her and was super supportive of her and her interests. He was her cheerleader when she needed one. He made sure to be there for all of her plays. He is the same with my brothers, but he's never been to any of my recitals. He never showed an interest in the stuff I liked. Whenever I went to him for cheering up, he brushed me off. And he spoiled my siblings by buying them toys, candy, and whatever. But he never got that stuff for me. When my mom wasn't home, I was either pushed to sleep at a friend's house or a family member's house, or he'd do a movie night or game night with my siblings, and he told me to stay in my room. I cried to my mom so many times about it, and she told me he treated me that way because we were the most alike and we butted heads. But I never fought him or disagreed with him. I never got the time with him to do any of that. So when a relative told me a couple months ago that he is not my dad, my mom was seeing him and my bio dad. Dad knew about my bio dad, and he said he wasn't going to keep sharing her, so Mom chose him. And then when she found out about me, he said she could keep me regardless. But if I wasn't his, he wanted a kid of his own. They DNA tested me, and I am not his, so my sister was born so close to me because of the promise. After hearing the truth and seeing the proof I confirmed with my parents, he told me now that I should start calling him Drake instead of Dad. What an asshole! My mom was not as yay as she knows though. She asked me every day, sometimes multiple times a day, who told me. She was pestered by several family members, to be honest, and she had no idea which of them said something, and I refused to tell. Even if it was disrespectful to do it behind her back, I'm glad I found out now. It also opened up the truth that I have no college savings like my siblings, and Drake doesn't want me to stay a day after my 18th birthday. He said I was never his. He never loved me, and he wants at least 1 year of just his family. All my mom cares about is finding out who. She tried to ground me, and she told me I needed to stay because nobody should tell a kid stuff like this without a parent knowing and being there. She said hiding who they are also makes them crappy because they are encouraging a minor to keep stuff from a parent intentionally to avoid consequences for the person. Am I the butthole? No, you are not. Your mother is shit. Drake is shit. Both. Oh my god. Drake is a complete asshole. Your mom is a complete asshole. They spoil your siblings like senseless, and they don't give you shit. So, what do they want to do? Leave you homeless, OP? I would go to like another family member's house and just live there. Maybe get a part-time job. I don't know. That's just fucked up beyond belief. Alright, next story. Am I the butthole for not continuing to help a woman who didn't speak French? I'm an 18-year-old Australian female and just got back from visiting my family in France with my mom. On the last morning there, while my mom was finishing up packing, she asked me to go down the road to grab us a coffee from the cafe. When I walked in, there was a woman there, who I'm pretty sure was American, but they could have been Canadian, I'm not sure on the accent. She was saying very loud and slow in English, almond milk. Almond milk. Almond milk. And the barista was saying in French, my phone. Just look at my phone. While gesturing to his phone. I think he had the translation app on his phone. I walked up, and this is basically the conversation. I asked the barista, I speak English, can I help? Him, yes, please. This has been going on for far too long. Me to her, hi, I speak English. Were you asking him if they had almond milk? Woman, blank stare. What? Me, were you asking if they had almond milk in this cafe? Woman turns to who I assume is her husband and says, I know she's speaking English, but I can't understand the words she's saying. Australian accent, notoriously difficult to understand. Slower and really enunciating. Do you want almond milk? Her, yes, could you tell him that's what I want? Me to the guy. She's asking for almond milk in her coffee. The guy, we do not have that. We have milk or soy milk, that's it. I apologize for my shitty French accent. Me to her. They only have dairy milk or soy. Her. Seriously, that's it? Coffee shops always have multiple choices for milk. How do they only have two? I shrug. Her. Can you tell him I want to speak to the manager? Me. No. Her. No. Me. No. I'm not going to stand here for 20 odd minutes while you argue with the manager through me. They have 2 choices of milk. That's it. Pick one. Her turns to her husband. What does he just say? To me. Tell him I want to speak to the manager. I turned to the guy and ordered mine and my mom's coffee and stands off to the side. He tried to talk to me for a few more minutes after, but I put headphones in and ignored her. Got my coffee and then left. When I got back to Australia, I was telling my friends about this story and they were kind of split about it. Some said she was being a Karen and I didn't have to help her. Others said she was in a foreign country and was having problems with the language and it wouldn't have cost me so much to help. So, was this lady being a bit Karen-ish, or was I the butthole? This lady was being Karen-ish. Plus, it's clear that she's American. Because we have a bunch of different types of milk that other countries don't have. Okay? So, next time she comes to France, she has to do her research to see what food or drink options or beverage options they have available. She could just go with soy because soy is I think it's a bean. I don't know. Anyway, long story short, that Karen is a butthole. OP. That's all. Next story. Is what my mother did wrong? When me and my brother were in elementary school age, we would get into, like all the other kids, disagreements and arguments with my mother. I'm ashamed to admit this, but during those arguments, we would tell her to die. Oh my god. For context, I'm Japanese, and in the Japanese environment that we grew up in, people, especially kids our age, use the term die more freely and casually. This is not an excuse what I said and was still awful, but it does, in my opinion, provide a good context. Whenever we would go tell her to die, she would grab a bottle of pills. Obviously the pills were non-lethal, but at the time we didn't know that. She would swallow a dozen or so pills and would threaten us with suicide unless we'd apologize. Once we beg and apologize, she would spit the pills into the sink, but she wouldn't clean them as a reminder. I don't think there is any excuse for what me and my brothers said, but I also don't think her actions were acceptable. To make this threat to little children dozens of times until we were almost numb to it is crazy. I asked her about this a few months ago and she still hadn't seen the issue with what she did. Her confidence and lack of persuasion that what she did was wrong is making me question whether or not she did was wrong. Yeah, it was kind of wrong on both your parts, honestly. In my opinion. I guess it's part of that culture then. I don't know. Anyway, next story. Am I the butthole for being betrayed even though my husband treats me well and says he still wants our family together? Hi everyone. I'm a 32-year-old female and I've been married to my husband, 38, male, for 12 years. We met when I was doing my internship at his company while I was in college. We got married before I even graduated. We have 2 sons, 7 and 5. My husband owns a construction and architecture firm. And we worked together until recently I thought we had a happy marriage, but a few weeks ago I accidentally found out that my husband is still in love with his ex-girlfriend. I overheard it completely by chance. I was supposed to stay home that day, but I decided last minute to go to the office. When I arrived, he was talking with one of his close friends. His ex had apparently left her husband and was struggling financially. She had reached out to my husband for help finding a place to live, and he was helping her. Then I heard him say, "My heart still races when I'm around her." I froze. It felt like air left my lungs. I started crying uncontrollably. Some of our employees saw me and sat me down and gave me water. Then my husband came. Later, I confronted him, and he said that when his ex got married, he decided that it was time for him to settle down too, and that I was a good match for him at the time. He said our lifestyles, values, and families align well. He told me he truly values me and never wanted to hurt me. He said, I couldn't marry the woman I loved, but you did marry the man you love. I didn't want you to go through the same pain, so I worked hard to make sure you were happy. He also said, marriage requires work, but you never had to work for it because I worked to give you a perfect marriage. To be fair, we've never had any major issues. Our families get along extremely well. We even live really close, which makes childcare easy. We often travel together while our parents took the kids. But hearing that he's still in love with someone else broke something inside me. He told me, you're the most important person in my life. I don't want to break our family apart. I want our kids to grow up happy. Then he said, I know you never leave the kids. If you ever wanted to remarry, you'd want someone who treats you and them well. So why can't that person be me? I'm completely lost. Should I stay in this marriage? Can I ever truly forgive this? I don't know. I'm on the fence on this one as well. Because one, he's still in love with his ex, and two, she married the love of her life, which is her husband. Honestly, it's your choice, OP. Like, seriously, it's your choice. Anyways, you guys, that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed it, click or tap that like button and subscribe for more, and follow me on my Instagram. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Love you all to death. Don't forget to stay positive to the Pride Lands end. Bye.